Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise, and so this will be your astrological transits for the week of July 3rd, and happy Independence Day, by the way. But July 3rd through the 9th, we're going to go from Sunday to Saturday, and it's Mars is moving into Taurus, Mercury's moving into Cancer this week. And the moon will go through the signs of Virgo through to Scorpio and end the week with Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio conjuncting that south node in Scorpio. So it's a big week. There's a lot going on, right? I mean, we can feel it. Even without astrologically, looking at it, we can feel it. So anyways, let me stop blabbing about it and drop the camera down over here and show you these charts. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I highlighted the thing that I want to, overview again, as I have been doing for quite some time now, for weeks. Of course, it's Saturn in T-squared to the nodes, but notice how close Uranus is getting to the North Node, and the North Node is backing in towards Uranus. So we are, I might grab my chopstick here, we are more rebellious against the man, right, the establishment, than before, and things are heating up. We're fighting for women's rights, we're fighting for privacy rights, which of course has everything to do with your relationship with your doctor, your relationship with your partner, and whether it's same sex or not. I heard Biden give his speech in Madrid. I guess it was it was this morning. It came on really early this morning, but it was about 3 p.m. in Madrid. And he said that he was going to be working on everything he could within his executive power to change the filibuster, at least. And he was, besides women's rights, he was reproductive rights, which is the Scorpio-Taurus polarity here. Remember, like I said, in the tarot, just imagine putting the Empress here with the North Node in Taurus, and now Uranus there's like, Mom's getting mad because people are messing with her, right? And not really the Tower, but more like the Judgment card, because the Judgment rules, Pluto rules the Judgment card. So put the Judgment card and the Empress at polar opposites, and they're going to be talking, right? Because we're waking up to how important it is to have our freedom, to have our equal rights, to have, the ERA has never even been ratified. We need to do that. We need to codify the Roe v. Wade. So there's going to be a battle, and we're gearing up for it. We can see it here. And it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger, because Mars is moving in this direction. Like I said last week, I think I've said it for quite some time now. Mars is moving this way, the North Node's moving this way, and these three are going to meet in the middle here at 18 degrees Taurus. So it's going to heighten things. Mars moves energy, and you can see it's going to move into Taurus this week, like I said. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget. I think it's Tuesday. But anyway, it's like, I look at it and then it just leaves my brain, sometimes. But anyway, Mars, moving energy, it's going to motivate us, it's going to get us going. And if we weren't fired up enough in Aries, now we're like, with Taurus, it's like, oh, hell no, right? So, be careful out there, because there are those that are just as fired up as we are, but in the opposite direction. So we want to be careful about that. But yeah, so that's the backdrop. And this is going to be in force, like this whole conglomerate here will be getting stronger and stronger in force together. This forcing, no, it's not really forcing currents, but it's like the planets that are in forcing. The forces in motion is what I should say. With the motion here, the forces holding here, because this polarity of Taurus and Scorpio is fixed, right? So fixed earth and fixed water, which is very feminine, right? And then with Saturn in Aquarius up here, the man going, no, we're going to tell you what to do with your body. And we're like, oh, yeah, just keep trying that. You just keep trying that, and we'll see how that goes for you. I got clearly that this is going to Roe v. Wade and this, this overturn and all the other, just tricks they're trying to pull. Tricks is a nice way of saying it, but I'm trying not to cuss today. But these abuses of power, okay? So this is, no, actually I need green for this one. So Pluto up here with power. Remember, Saturn rules Capricorn, Pluto rules Scorpio, and so we've got this combination here, and this is moving down to Mercury. So this is a tight orb, and this Sunday morning, we're talking about it. We're exchanging ideas. We're talking more and more and more about the abuses of power. And that's because SCOTUS has dropped a bunch of other bombshells as to their decisions about all different things, including redistricting. Yeah, I can't even remember the other ones. I was like, oh, if I go down that rabbit hole right now, I won't get this reading done. So I thought I'll just wait. But you guys can read about it. It's coming out on the news. Excuse me. So, yeah. We don't like being in this place where we're experiencing the hypocrisy and the duplicity of people in power, right? I mean, Clarence Thomas is there with his interracial marriage and has been for years, and we've been happy to celebrate that with him, and we've never held that against him. But we can certainly hold all types of other things against him where he's been way out of line. And, just a major hypocrite when it comes to that couple, him and his wife. So this morning, moving into, right up first thing in the morning, with Saturn opposing, so the moon's 0 degrees Virgo. So Virgo analyzes, Virgo eliminates, Virgo brings in everything it takes to be healthy. It brings in the ability to, it's like being useful, working hard. You have to be careful with perfectionism here. Virgo, because you don't want to be, but then again, Virgos are so good about getting to those details that are so perfect that it's just exactly what was needed. And it's ruled by Mercury. So with this opposition here to Saturn, I'm thinking that the news is going to bring out something that we're going to get to digest, and then again, it's going to give us some food for the fodder or whatever to oppose this government baloney that's going on. And that's especially reinforced here with the sun right here. See how it's squaring to Jupiter and to Chiron. And Jupiter and Chiron are moving close together because Chiron is going to go retrograde next, is it next week or the week after, somewhere in there? It's right before the sun changes into Leo. I think it's the 19th or 20th or something like that, if I can remember. But anyway, these two together, so they're moving closer together this way, and they're joining forces. And Jupiter is all about healing, and Chiron is all about our deepest wounds. So we're having an opportunity to heal. We're having many opportunities to heal our deepest wounds. And if we don't have our right to exist and just be our natural selves, we are going to get more and more angry about it. And that's what the Sun in Cancer squaring the two is helping us to nurture. Cancer is all about self-love. It's all about mothering ourselves, healing our inner child. It's all about healing the past. It's all about protection. I always look to Cancer and Leo for like protective love. And when it comes to what makes us safe and secure and protects our children and our families, we're not going to let go of that. It's very tenacious. Cancer is very tenacious. We don't give up. So is Scorpio. And the Sun will be moving into that natural trine to the South Node in Scorpio as the over the next couple of days, or maybe even late tonight. But anywho, between this combination here, we have those opportunities to move energy because Aries and Cancer are cardinal, so we're talking movement to get things going the way we want. And then with this nice trine here, so remember Mars moves, right? Mars moves energy, and in Aries it's kind of like kicking ass and taking names, And we have the trine over here to the Virgo moon. It's like, oh, who are these people on this list that we need to watch out for? And then Mercury trining Saturn, we've got that connection there too. Again, analyzing the facts. These two work so well together, even though, there's not an exact aspect going on anymore. But in the middle of the night there was. But getting up, early in the morning, Pacific Coast time, and then, of course, this would be 9 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Atlantic. We've got some nice connections here. Hopefully you guys are having an active dream time. I have been, and what's been helping me is because sometimes I wake up and go, what? Why am I having these weird dreams? Like, am I living some parallel lifetime in some other reality? And it's like, what's going on? And then I stopped and went, wait a minute, what if I put myself in the position of every single character in my dream and got a little angle of, I could have like my higher self, my lower self, my child self, my observer self, something I'm still doing that I shouldn't do, things that I'm not doing that I should do. Like, what if I put myself in all these different positions rather than just like wonder, what is that guy doing over there? Or why isn't she doing the thing over here she should be doing? Or where'd the other one go? They came in and then they just walked through and left. Like, what was that about? But so analyze your dreams that way, and the energy's here for it with the moon in Virgo to wake up in the morning and figure out, like, question your motivations, because we're here to make everything conscious within, not to judge ourselves, but to make everything conscious within. And with this square to Mars and Pluto, it can be very helpful to question our motivations and to help us transform, because Pluto transforms anything from the unconscious that needs to clear through. And that's especially true here with an added benefit here is Mars sextiling. We've got an opportunity to connect the dots, to make sense out of something, and all around, questioning our motivations. So that's all I'm seeing for this day, and that's a nice backdrop for for everything I've been talking about. It's a really nice, interesting, like we've got this trine sextile there and a trine sextile there. Like if we just look at the shapes, if they were all around, it'd be like some type of a flower, wouldn't it? But so anyway, let's move on to Monday. So Monday, of course, is the 4th of July. USA is 4th of July. And the sun's in Cancer like it always is in July. And today we have a nice trine to the moon. So I'm going to focus more on the moon now because these, that's what the rest of the reading will be about, the moon moving through the signs and the aspects that the moon makes. So we have an opportunity with the sextile, at least one opportunity, could be opportunities all morning, to now sometimes this can be planting, things in the garden. Both of these signs, Cancer and Virgo, support that. And of course, the North Node in Taurus is all about growing and just think Venus, it's ruled by Venus. Just think the Empress energy if you're tuned into the tarot. And of course, we still have that in conjunct. It's gone though, I think tomorrow, but the in conjunct to Mercury. So we're still talking about things. And, good thing it's a day off for those of us in the USA because we have a lot to talk about. And we also have with the moon, so I love this combination here for getting in touch with everything you want to nurture, anything you want to let go of, heal the past and let go of, maybe set some boundaries if you need to. And you'll have good reasons why to set those boundaries if that's been, one of the issues. Don't think you need to be like the perfect parent or the perfect sibling, or you have to be useful all the time in order to be, just let go of the perfection thing, right? And just try and have some fun, because Cancer is all about having fun and playing, and it's like childlike and curious. Virgo can get a little serious and think that it has to be working and everything has to be perfect. Let go of that. I think that's what the opportunity is about. And then especially because we have this awesome trine here to Uranus, coming into exactitude, because of course this is moving this way. When it gets to 17 degrees Virgo, it's going to exactly trine Uranus here. And then as it moves even a little further up and it gets to 21 degrees, it's going to trine the North Node and bring in this whole thing. So we might as well start focusing in on it first thing in the morning. The trines bring in graceful, easy energy, and Uranus helps us become more free. Uranus helps us wake up. It's all about letting go, detaching from things that don't work, and there's ease and grace in that this morning. So that's wonderful. Now, because we have a square to Venus, right, when it's exact, this morning, the square brings in, so the Venus squaring the moon, that brings in that, definitely in Gemini, that brings in that challenge of thinking that we have to be perfect in some way. And that's one of the other reasons I was tuning into that. And especially because, with Pluto in the exact orb here with this in conjunct, this could be trying to, if we're not careful, this could be trying to adjust ourselves to facilitate somebody who seems to have more control over us in our lives, and they seem to be more powerful. Don't do that. Don't give yourself away. Let yourself just be yourself and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. And all the other, I don't know if I gave enough voice to Neptune. I don't think I did. Let's talk about this for a minute. Neptune sextile Pluto, that brings in your spiritual power. Neptune, and of course it's retrograde, and it's going to stay retrograde until early December. It's going to retrograde all the way back, I think, to like 22 degrees. Not that far. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to go that. This planet takes 164 years to get all the way around the zodiac, and it stays in one sign for like 14 years, I think. So just, don't worry much about it. It's going to be gentle. It's all about our spiritual awakening, or spiritual deepening, I should say. It's about our devotion to our spiritual work, actually. The only problem you could have if you're not working in the light with Neptune is addictions. But it could be an addiction to anything, right? And with this Saturn to square in Aquarius and squaring Uranus, man, especially back here to to the South Node in Scorpio, this could be for some men having a hard time letting go of porn that's getting in the way of their, having a healthy relationship. And, that's just one thing. I'm not one to judge about that stuff, actually, but at some point they'll understand that sex without connection to the heart is kind of just... it's a physical release of it's a real need, I guess, physically. But the older we get, forms of pleasure change. So I would say just do your best to open your heart to yourself and to others and love yourself through whatever you're needing to go through. And this Mars square to Pluto is further reiterating that. Now, Mars moves pretty quickly, so we might even be done with this by the end of the week. But yeah, it'll definitely calm down when it gets to tomorrow. Once Mars is in Taurus, things will calm down. But this could be one of those days. This 4th of July could be one of those 4th of Julys where people are a little feisty and people don't mind fighting. And there could be some accident-prone behavior, so be careful there. Let's see. Mars sextile to Venus is wonderful here. I like this. There's a nice opportunity to move together in more of... There could be more motivation to move towards communication and relationship that... is what it's all about, right? I mean, nope. Well, unless you can telepathically communicate, or certain couples, and I'm sure there's lots of them on the planet who maybe can't speak, but they have other ways of connecting. Maybe they write notes to each other. We all communicate somehow. And the highest form of spiritual communication is when our actions match our words and we mean what we say, and we're not manipulating, we're not saying things to manipulate others. So there could be some nice connection around understanding that and having a lot more communication in your relationships, which will heighten your relationship. It'll work, and it will definitely be helpful with this nodal, with the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, because that's all about intimacy and developing happy, blissful, loving relationships. The opposition of, the nodes, whenever the nodes, doesn't matter what sign they're in, they're all about opportunities to reconcile our inner dualities. And because it's in the sign of Scorpio and Taurus, these can be, with these signs, it can be like reconciling a dualistic belief in, can I trust this person? Is this person trustworthy? But if you trust yourself and you trust your intuition, especially with the South Node in Scorpio and this nice trine to Neptune, things will work out. And, I think everybody just has to go through relationships, and I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect relationship where you're not somehow betrayed, but you learn over the years to not betray yourself. And that means you speak up for yourself. You go, hey, wait a minute. I heard you say something this way, right? And I felt you say something this way. Which was true? Or are they both true and you don't really know what you said? Or maybe you misspoke, you left out a word. Sometimes that can make all the difference, right? So opening up the lines of communication is what's, right there on the table. We still have the same square to Jupiter and Chiron, so there's still that healing. And the other sesco squares aren't that, it's not that big of a deal. Well, I normally sesquisquares are kind of stubborn, but I wouldn't say that because we've got mutable. They're in mutable signs with the square here, and then up to, well, I think we might be stubbornly questioning people who are abusing their power. And that's a good thing, actually. I like that. Okay, so Neptune. Oh, yeah, you know what? We do have Neptune squaring the Sun today. Look at this. 25, well, no, it's not. It's to Mercury. Wait. Hold on. I see this, if I can follow it through. No, it's to Mercury. It's Jupiter squaring the Sun. Okay, so now I do need to talk about that. We can't move on. Not yet. So with Neptune squaring Mercury, again, that brings us back to everything I just said about the questioning when people say a certain thing and then they do another. Ask them, like, okay, what's that about? You know, what do you really mean? Or why did you tell me you were going to do that and then you didn't do it? Or have you changed your mind? And do we need to renegotiate something? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a questioning around a person's real motivations, real intentions, and what they said, but now maybe they've kind of split off their, might be a little duplicitous, you know. So let's see. With Jupiter squaring the Sun, this could be over-momming, over-parenting, helicopter parent, especially with a sextile to the Sun. I'm sorry, the Moon in Virgo, right? There's a little helicopter parent pattern here. So be careful. But then again, if you're playing in the backyard and you're giving your kid a sparkler, you're definitely going to want to protect them. Or if you're out on the street with a bunch of other kids, you know, celebrating 4th of July, you're going to want to protect all the kids. So I think it's actually a healthy thing. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, sometimes this type of thing can come together when there's a need for setting a healthy boundary. You know, if it has nothing to do with safety for children or helicopter parenting in the negative sense, it can be that somebody's very boisterous and putting themselves out there with Jupiter and Aries. They're initiating something, you know, they're asserting themselves. It's their unique, beautiful, individual self, and they're putting themselves out there, but they might have a demand for your attention with the Sun in Cancer, and they might have, and I'm not saying either sign is like that. I'm just kind of blending the energies together. It can be the need for, you know, you might have to speak up and say, well, but that's not really where I am right now. Or that doesn't apply to me. You might have to kind of speak up for yourself once you figure out how you're feeling or what's going on. Now, mind you, this is moving out of orb because the Sun's at 12, Jupiter's at 7, right? But so it's moving away. So this could be something that's, you know, been happening for the last few days because the Sun moves a degree every day. But notice how we also have the square here to Chiron. And that's been on the table as well. Like, you know, honoring your unique self. You matter. You matter to yourself. You belong to yourself. And that's what's been healing within all of us. And now you're stabilizing. Now you're setting the healthy boundaries because the orb is in a separating orb and it's moving away. And the closer it moves through, you know, through to, especially when the Sun hits, you know, Leo, you're going to have a whole new sense of strength within that you didn't have before this transit. It's beautiful. I love the way astrology works. We're always having these opportunities to grow and heal. And let's see. We have to talk right here. Well, wait, let me see. Is it in here for tomorrow? Because maybe I could not. Yeah, I'll leave it for Tuesday. So, I'm sorry, Monday. Oh, it's the same day. That's right. I forgot I did this. So, hold on, we need yellow right here. So, 4th of July, but 11:38 p.m. So, almost midnight, right? Mars moves into Taurus, and Venus is in Cancer. But the aspect that I wanted to speak to, because everything is the same with the outer planets. Okay, we're gonna talk about Mars, but let's talk about this Saturn trining up here or down here to Mercury in Cancer. And you could see how earlier in the day it had already started, even though it was still in Gemini. So while it was in 2 air signs, things were, communication was going well, and it will continue for some time. Mercury moves pretty fast, actually. So, but anyway, Saturn trine Mercury is excellent for working out details, for communication, for now that it's in Cancer, Mercury is going to be all about thinking about how you feel and having the opportunity to articulate how you feel. Mercury is really good at connecting the dots, linking things together. It helps to find patterns within. So this transit here will be good for understanding why you believe what you believe and knowing where, tracing back in your childhood and your, adolescence or whatever year it was that you glommed onto a certain belief because you had a specific experience that left you feeling a certain way. And now as an adult, you can connect those dots and change your belief system around that and literally change your karma. Saturn's all about karma. Saturn retrograde is going to stay here. We're going to have this Saturn retrograde, and it's, squaring the nodes, right? All the way through to October 20-something. And I do remember it's going to go back to like 18 degrees. I always remember the dates, but often the degrees. So just think about it, right? That 18 degrees in October, but it's going to be within orb of this. So when we have that transit, July 31st, it begins, where Mars connects to Uranus and the North Node, and everything's at 18 degrees. It's going to connect up to the square to Saturn, again, tighter. So we are working through something, right? Karma with Saturn, lessons with Saturn, dropping into a deeper understanding of what we want with Jupiter and Aries, feeling more of what we truly want with Mercury in Cancer, and with the Sun in Cancer there, it's very supportive. The Sun's shining the light, helping us to focus in. The Sun brings in, it's kind of like turning on a flashlight or turning on a light and spotlighting in, you're focusing in. And look how we have this beautiful trine going to the South Node, which brings us into touch with our past. And the Moon is trining Uranus and the North Node together. We have a lot of graceful, and the Moon is up here trining Pluto. This is a day, if you're still awake, but this is what we're moving into on the 4th of July. And, pay attention to dreams, because it's all going to come together. It's all going to come together. And even during the middle of the night, this Moon connection, even though it's an opposition, it's still a connection to Neptune and Pisces. We're talking dream time where we can work out details. So keep those dream journals by your bed. Be willing to write down little snippets if you wake up in the middle of the night. In fact, set the intention to be okay with waking up, writing it down, and going right back to sleep, and see how that works, because I know it does. I can promise you it does. And yeah, Venus is still sextiling Chiron. It's coming into a tighter orb, though, because she's moving quickly. So again, healing any wounding that needs to be brought to our attention, and unifying yourself in a deeper way. Again, just think of putting the Empress right here, right? Because Venus rules the Empress, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So anything where you wanting to heal relationships and communication issues in relationships, and what you want to conceive, because Taurus is very fertile, and Venus is very fertile. So it can be new ideas of communication. It can be ways to express yourself. It can be ways to learn new things. Maybe there's a new love for learning. Maybe there's a new love for learning about whatever wounding you had that you're still needing to work through, because until you do, it's going to control your life, because that's just the way it works. It's, life on Earth can be so much pleasure, and it can also be a lot of pain. And we are figuring out what we want, and we're making changes with the nodal opposition here. We're healing the past, and we're learning to love ourselves with Cancer with the Sun in Cancer and Mercury in Cancer. And no matter what we did in the past, I don't care what you did, as long as you're not doing it anymore, and you were genuinely sorry for whatever you did, and you won't do it again, then there's no reason not to forgive yourself. In fact, if you don't forgive yourself at that point, you're just going to bring it in again so that you can beat yourself up some more, because that's the false belief that needs to go. And that could be the case with the moon trining up here to Pluto, and this contact point to Neptune. Is like you come into contact with that, you realize, and especially too, we have this inconjunct here to Saturn. It's like we can be our own worst enemies, and we have to be very careful about beating ourselves up, rather than just understand why, where it came from. Like why were we doing that, whatever it is that holds you back, right? Because the North Node with Uranus is all about waking up and healing. Uranus is the great awakener. And in Taurus, it's about waking up to your self-worth. And we're learning how to heal and integrate the past and then move forward. We're always moving towards inner unity, and we're always moving towards, aligning with all of our wisdom and our experience from the past, reconciling those two opposites. What seems like an opposite, but it's not really. Because, innocence is one thing. Innocence can sometimes be naive because you haven't experienced it yet. But when you've gone through some really dark times and you've healed yourself, that's wisdom. And if you can do that for yourself, you can help others do the same thing. In fact, you have to heal yourself before you can. You don't have to be perfect in it, and you don't have to heal yourself completely. But every step along the way that you heal yourself, you're also able to help others heal wherever they need to heal. And sometimes it's just by hanging out with them and you don't say a darn thing, there's just some acceptance that comes through. So, let's see, anything else here? Yeah, just more about opening up to dream time. Okay. So with wait, hold on. Let's go back to the reason for this chart. So it's Mars into Taurus. Okay. So Mars is still squaring Pluto like it has been. But now let's talk about, because it's no longer Mars in late degrees Aries, now it's Taurus. So it slows down, ruled by Venus. It brings in, so Mars will always bring in motivation, and it will activate and move energy. It will bring us into a place where we're more enthusiastic for something, and we want to, we have new goals, right? But what is it in Taurus? Well, let's think about Taurus. So Taurus is being more secure. There's more tactile, sensual expression. There's more faithfulness. But most of all, Taurus is about our self-preservation. So I am thinking that this square to Pluto in Taurus is going to be, again, I'm hearing it, I just keep hearing it, that, when it comes to Roe v. Wade being overturned, it's, again, just like, oh, hell no, right? So the man, these, people that want to, I don't know, should we call them plutocrats, that want to control our bodies, it's just like, what, you think we're going to go back 50 years? You think we're going to stand with all the women on the planet, all the Pluto and Leo women on the planet, all the Pluto and Virgo, Libra, Scorpio? You think we're going to let you guys do this to our daughters and granddaughters? No, we're not. And the women that are for it, boy, are they going to have a major karmic reality check, because it's just... And if we let them get away with this, can you imagine what that means for just anyone's personal rights to love anyone that they want, or, be in a consenting adult relationship. Now, I'm noticing this sextile here from the moon to the south node. So now we have a connection to the south node, and this is the aspect of the architect, and there's 2 trines here to the moon. So this brings in, I'm highlighting this a lot because it brings in the strength of Mars going through Taurus. And notice how there's this trine up here to Pluto. So I think this is an alignment with all of the Democrats who will help us fight, and it's an alignment with our principles from reproductive rights is all about the South Node in Scorpio, and then with this nice trine over here to Neptune, we have this opening here into what's right, and people are going to wake up, and then we have this connection here to letting go of any victimization. We are not going to allow ourselves to no longer be considered by these people in power. We will make whatever sacrifice we need to. We will devote ourselves to it. With Neptune and Pisces, we will devote ourselves to protecting. We will dig our heels in with Scorpio. We're okay with crisis management when the South Node's in Scorpio, because we're just not going to betray ourselves anymore. But these, crazy women who, some of these Republican crazy women who jump on board with that, well, they are betraying the best of themselves deep down inside, because a woman's right to her body is like that. It's just, there's nothing stronger than that. So anyway, again, Mars squaring Pluto, and this whole other situation, all these other aspects here, all of these trines and sextiles in these very feminine signs spell out to me that there are many, 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 many women that will join forces, and many men that will help them as well. Because men, the smart men, don't want this. It's ridiculous. So yeah. So Mars moves pretty quick. We only have it. It's about a month and a half or so through each sign. So it's going to take us through about mid-August in Taurus, and then So now it's like, while it's in Taurus, it's like, no, we want this safety. No, we are not moving. We are holding this space here of principles that really matter. And we are in self-preservation because not every woman can give birth, and not every woman can, can have 5 or 6 successful childbearing experiences. Some women go through situations where they need an abortion, otherwise they will die. And right, that's just the thing. Is like we're talking about when we're in the realm of Taurus, we're in the realm of self-preservation. So that's what's being held with this. So yeah. These guys really, these 6 idiots on SCOTUS on the bench, they've really made a huge mistake. But it's okay, because it's going to get us voting harder. It's definitely going to get us voting harder, and there's going to be a big blue wave or tsunami that happens. And it's just, we're going to take everything back, because if we don't, we see where we're headed. We're headed into like Handmaid's Tale territory. So Wednesday, let's see, all the aspects are the same there. So we've got an opposition. Let's see, hold on, this is here. Yeah, Mars is there. Well, that's interesting. We've got a sextile there from Mars to the Sun. No, it's not. It's Mars to Mercury. Yeah, that we had before, right? Did we have that yesterday when I was talking about the... Did I talk about it? No, I'll talk about it now. Okay, so Mars at 0 degrees Taurus, sextiling over here to Mercury at 2 degrees Cancer. We have an opportunity to get the energy moving towards that self-preservation and that safety, and we're talking about ways to protect, to hold that stance of protective love. And then we also have the Sun sextiling over here to Uranus. See how the Sun's at 14? And so we've got this 60-degree aspect here to 17 degrees Uranus. So that's a tight orb there. But we can include the North Node. And remember, the North Node's like the path we're all heading. And we're talking about security and self-preservation, right? What we own. We own our bodies. It's like with Aries, we come in and we're like, I'm here. And then with Taurus, it's like, oh, I have a body. Whether a baby can articulate and see his hands and, or see his or her hands and feet and all that at birth, of course not. But they can feel that they have a body. They can feel. That's what Taurus is all about. And then of course, Gemini brings in that, I think I communicate. Somehow I can communicate, right? Babies can cry. And they can giggle and coo and all kinds of things. And then with Cancer, it's like, oh, I really feel and I have to take care of myself. So we're talking, Taurus and Cancer are all about security and insecurity, self-preservation and growth. Because if there's anything going wrong developmentally between these 3 signs, growth doesn't happen. And then when we get to the 5th sign, which is Leo, if we don't have our real needs met, which are connection, you're here, you need connection, you need comfort, we're having to literally attach to a parent, a caretaker, in order to survive. If those real needs aren't met, and we're not, another real need is to be seen and heard and understood. So if the baby cries and people don't come and feed it, by the time we get to that next stage of development, we are not going to have our creative self-expression. And those are the basic real needs that every every human being needs. With Leo, we need that, identity. right? We need to have confidence in ourselves. And if we're not recognized in the other developmental stages, we will have problems with our creative self-expression. So that's just some food for thought. Being we don't have anything in Leo here today, but anyway, with the moon, you can see that it's in Libra. It's made it to Libra here. And we have an opposition to Jupiter and Chiron. So there's something about relationship and the mirroring between relationship. That's what Aries to Libra is all about, is that mirroring from self, Aries self, to how we relate in Libra. So this is a perfect day. Wednesday is going to be an amazing day. And even late Tuesday night, let's see. Nah, I take that back. It's still in Virgo there. It's early in the morning. Early. From the middle of the night. So something within 6 hours between like midnight and 6 a.m. Pacific time, we've moved from Virgo into Libra. And now there's that mirror. So the moon, remember, is all about our moods, and it's all about protection and what we nurture, and it's our routine and our like patterns of behavior. So when it's in Libra, it's more willing to relate. It's more willing to be in that little bridge to relationship, right? Instead of just with ourselves. So this is going to be a really good work day, I would think. And even though we have squares in the morning, the sun here at 14, once the moon, because the moon's going this way, right? So the moon's going to catch up with the sun because it's going to stay like 14, 15 degrees there. It's about 14 and a half. And with the square between Mercury and the moon, sun, this conglomerate here, spells out to me the need for, though it could be challenging. Some people could have challenges in finding their feelings and articulating their feelings to another person in a relationship, and that's more about the morning. And then as the day moves on, let me sneak into Thursday. Yeah, at 20 degrees there. So it's all about Wednesday to Thursday is all about, let me make sure this is still straight. Yeah, okay. It's all about finding our feelings, maybe setting boundaries in relationships. Squares can be challenging, but then they turn into strengths. And when it comes to this moving forward, it's a whole day of strengthening bonds, building relationship. It might be challenging, but if you can hang in there with people that you love and trust, which is, what the nodes are all about, holding space here for, intimate connections, right? Friends that you can share your heart with, and they're not going to judge you for what you're going through, because we're always all going through something, right? And it could be a little stubbornness in the morning, but as it moves forward and the square gets out of orb, it'll be much better. But you should come through this transit for the next 24 hours between Wednesday and Thursday with a new strength within, with healthier boundaries, but the ability to relate should be heightened. So let's see. Yeah, the others, the sun squaring, Jupiter Chiron is still the same. All these other aspects are the same. I like how we have a nice trine. Notice how the sun's at 14, south node's at 20. The sun is moving into an exact trine, and it's starting up here. So this is nice because water trines are really nice. Now, sometimes trines are just connections. They're supposed to be nice, but sometimes they're just a connection. So if you find yourself in fear, because Cancer can get fearful if it's not, doesn't feel safe, okay? Because remember, Cancer is all about security. So is Taurus, and with Mars in this sextile to the Sun, this is all about who do I trust and am I safe with these people? And if you have betrayal issues from the past coming up, this is a perfect time to heal them. And that's especially true because we've got the aspect of the architect here, which brings in this lever law, where if you've done that work, you can finally just like open those gates and let it go. So if you've had any past resentments over things that people have said or done, and they've been a little too, maybe they were just kind of a little too harsh with some of their words and they didn't realize that they were harsh and you never said anything about it. Maybe by this time, you've said, especially with Mercury, getting out of, going through Gemini, because sometimes Gemini can just kind of cut off and withdraw and go, oh shoot, it's no big deal, or I'm afraid, I don't know if I want to talk about it. And then with it in Cancer, with Mercury in Cancer, you're considering, is it okay to talk about it? Do I feel strong enough? And as long as you're not wanting to like take somebody's head off over it and make them just bad and wrong because you got triggered, there's no reason to not bring it up. And you'll find out if they're trustworthy, but you'll also figure out, are you holding on to something that didn't have anything to do with them, and maybe they didn't even realize that they said what they said, and it might be that it didn't have anything to do with you. And that's especially possible in these times where we're, texting, we're not face-to-face, we're online, or we're on like Zoom or Skype or FaceTime or any other type of video platform where like the connection can drop and you'll lose a couple of words or more. And that's why lots of times I'll just say, wait, can you repeat that? Because I didn't get it. But not everybody will do that. And when people don't do that, then you can be misunderstood. That's happened to me before, where they thought I said something one way. It's that thing where like one word makes all the difference. It's like, put the word not or no in front of a sentence and it changes the whole meaning of the sentence, right? Or leave out the word and or, and that can change out the meaning of the sentence or completely disrupt everything. So that's the dynamic I'm seeing here to be careful of with this moon squaring the Sun and Mercury, and especially with the opposition here to Jupiter. Jupiter can blow up an old wounding. This can be a trigger point here, and up to the past. It could trigger an old betrayal of the past. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with asking a person to clarify themselves, and you might really find out that there was just a huge misunderstanding, and then it can be something that you actually end up laughing about later on. And I love that. That's beautiful. And that also gives more voice to this trine over here to Neptune in Pisces, because that brings in, and especially here, look at this. Oh my goodness. We've got a lot going on here. This whole configuration spells out to me that there can be forgiveness and compassion when we come into our power and have the courage to, say what we need to say, because we really want to keep those connections alive. If you work hard to keep your connections alive with the people that you've grown with, and you want to be willing to, I would hope that you'd want to be willing to keep it going, unless it's an old pattern that just hasn't shifted and they're not doing their work. But and even if that's the case, there's still no reason to not forgive. We still want to always the lesson with Scorpio is we want to let go of those old resentments so that we can move forward with love. And look at this nice trine we have here to Neptune in the sun, back to the South Node. It's like the South Node, the past of this. The South Node's always about the past, and in Scorpio, it can transform the past deeply so that we have more life force flowing through us and much more connected to our source and to our guides, to our guardian angels, to spirit with Neptune here. So, okay, so let's move forward into Thursday. Let's see. It looks like to me like everything's the same. Yep, still have that square going on there. All of that's the same. Pluto trine to the North Node. That's for some time. Because this is going to be in order for quite some time because Pluto's going this way. Well, it'll only go back to 26. And the North Node's going to, it'll drop down. I need to get some dates on that and see when this is out of orb. But this is, let's just suffice to say that this is an opportunity here to come into our power and manifest. This is manifesting power to move us forward so that we have a life that is more in alignment with our true values and higher self-esteem and much more creative mojo. Okay. Yeah, that's the same there. Okay, so let's focus on the moon. So you can see the moon's got a little T-square going on here to powerful Pluto and to the sun here in Cancer, right? Now, it was cooking during the middle of the night, but in the morning, you may wake up having a deeper sense of either your challenges to your personal power and how you nurture yourself in relationships. How do you relate to another, your deeper sense of feelings? How do you speak up and say what you need to say in order to come into more balance, just to bring in more balance and justice and equality? These transits don't bode well for anybody trying to control, especially the feminine. And they don't bode well for people who are not waking up with this inconjunct here. And all of this to me also spells relationship rights. You know, your right to love who you want to love. Remember those inalienable rights of the Constitution. And the moon is also trining Venus. Venus rules Libra and Taurus, and it's all about relationship. Venus is all about relationship. So lots of communication, lots of the strength to share your feelings that bring more power to your soul. Well, actually, it's not about bringing more power to your soul. It's about releasing the power within. Yeah, and notice how the sun here, we've got a T-square going on with the sun at the apex here. And it's over here to Chiron. 16 degrees to 15 degrees to 20 degrees. So even earlier in the morning, this waking up and realizing, whoa, if I'm not nurturing my own sense of how much I matter to myself, is the other person gonna do it? Am I gonna give to get? Am I gonna submit to keep myself in a relationship that isn't nurturing who I really am, or who I'm just who you really are? Because Cancer is protecting yourself, and that sense of self that you've worked hard to come into can be kind of threatened in relationship. Now, I still feel like this is a lot about politics. But if you are having any relationship issue, just know that if you don't matter to yourself and you don't belong to yourself, your relationships will not mirror that back to you, because all relationships are mirrors. And either they see you for who you are in all your beauty and love, and whether or not you're perfect doesn't matter. You don't need to be. Whether or not they're seeing the beauty of who you truly are, that's up to you to show them. You might have to teach some people who you really are, is what I'm saying here. Now, that's especially true because we're building into this exact trine to Saturn. Saturn teaches. In Aquarius, we can get a little rebellious. But from Libra to Aquarius, it's all about relating in ways that are free to be me, right? Free to be yourself. Aquarius is, there's a nice opportunity here for humanity to grow and evolve. And they're not going to other humans are not going to like being treated, it's awful. Inhumane conditions are awful, awful, awful. It's an awful thing to see. Now, that's probably another part of, it's absolutely another part of what this square to Saturn is, to the nodes. You see things on the news like those 51 migrants who suffocated to death in a truck. Things like that. It's just, we've known that these things have been happening for who knows how long, but when we see it, it's just, it's a reminder that these inhumane, we need more work to fight this and to enforce, the laws. That's the problem, is they just leave the truck and then they run, and you never get to the person at the top, and you don't even usually find the person who was driving the truck. That's the problem, and enforcing those laws. There are so many jobs out there for big, strong men who wouldn't mind doing that kind of work, right? Or women who are strong and would love doing that as well. Because, look at this. I'm going to move into the next day and still look at this other aspect I'm seeing here with this. Oh, wait, hold on. Did something shift? Hold on. Yeah, because of the moon. So hold on. I'm going to back up this. Look at this T-square here. Pluto at 27. The moon is going to, of course, it'll get to 27. And then we have the square to Mars. That's a whole lot of motivation to try and bring in justice and fairness as the moon moves into this exact opposition to Mars at some point. Hold on. Yeah. Right? See, and it happened even sooner than, see how we've got Mars opposing the moon? That brings in a lot of emotional energy and motivation for safety. Things are heating up. Wow. The sun is still in, of course, 16 degrees Cancer here. Trining the moon. We've got Mercury trine the moon. We have the sun trine the south node, and the moon's moving towards the south node. And tomorrow, you'll see, we've got an exact conjunction. And so Mercury's talking to, Mercury in Cancer is talking to the past, And Scorpio is all about trying to change the past because things weren't fair, things weren't working well. And with the moon trying to Mercury, there's a lot of emotional self-expression. There's a lot of wanting to protect and nurture. And these things that have happened in the past that we don't like, we're going to be talking even more about that. And then with Venus now in this exacting conjunction in the morning to the past, again, talking about women's rights and things that aren't working from the past, and we're not having it anymore. And there's a stubborn holding on to the things that need to be held on so that we can heal. So that's what's on the table for the day for Friday. Now, taking politics out of it and just focusing in on our soul, which I don't know how anybody does that, because to me, politics is about equality and justice, or not, right? But just on the personal level, this all has to do with protecting yourself, sharing your feelings, finding your feelings, expressing your feelings in a way that empowers you, in a way that empowers you so that you can heal the past and connect the dots to the past. Again, pay attention to those dreams, right? Look at that beautiful Neptune trine the south node there still, that's an orb. Pay attention to those dreams. They are there to help empower you, to help you heal. They are there to help you move forward and get what you want. Look how close Uranus and the North Node are by the end of the week. Just 2 degrees, not even 2 degrees. Because the North Node's going backwards. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's about 2 degrees. So, yeah. And the sun is squaring Jupiter still, but it's almost out of orb. Well, another 4 degrees, a few days. Yeah. So again, the motivation to protect ourselves, to nurture and to heal our inner child if need be, whatever inner child work, any old family patterns, to heal our roots, and then have the strength to move forward. And Mercury's in on this mix talking to Jupiter. Like, how do we heal? How do we heal the past? Well, you have to get into those false beliefs and heal. Now, when it comes to the real needs, you just need to know what those real needs are. And they just tend to work themselves out. So the real needs are the need to connect. We all have a real need to connect with each other, okay? And in baby terms, infant terms, that connection is what helped us to feel safe. And then we have the real need to be, we have every single human being at any age has a real need for pleasure, and that's because pleasure reminds us of who we truly are. And just think of living in the spirit world where there's no such thing as a negative thought, and it's just all bliss, all pleasure. But then here we are on Earth going, what? What happened? So we're working on this dualistic plane on an equal opportunity planet where everyone gets to incarnate and work through their stuff, and we're witnessing things that sometimes don't have anything to do with us, and we have to be careful not to glom onto that. And then other times, we're learning to just get out of our wounding around not being encouraged, not being seen and heard and understood. And to the degree that we feel safe enough to do that, that turns into our creative self-expression. And sometimes that has nothing to do with words, but it's just our moving through time and space in a certain way where we're loving ourselves and we're going towards life, going towards being in that life stream that's always moving. So that's what I'm seeing here. I love it. especially with this, notice this nice sextile from Uranus to the Sun. It's like waking up and really waking up and really feeling you're on your life's path, and you have the courage, you're gathering the courage, and turning those insecurities into strengths here with Jupiter to the Sun and Chiron to Mercury. I love it. Okay, so then Saturday, this is, and see where I was talking about with the moon conjunct the South Node. So again, dream time. What came through? What came through Friday night, dream time? What from the past can you heal? What old resentments can you let go of? How can forgiveness come through? How can you just, well, first you have to decide you want to forgive. You might not forget, but then again, if everything's just a lesson to help you love yourself more, what's to forgive? It's like, sometimes you learn how to love yourself through the lens of somebody not loving you, not mirroring you and who you are, absolute betrayal and disrespect. But if you're the one that says, excuse me, the buck stops here, I love myself, and I'm awake, and I'm moving forward, and I'm empowered with myself, and I have my spirit guides and spirit team, and I have the entire universe and lots of friends who are compassionate, I have my like-minded kindred spirits, right? And we hang out, and we have fun, and we talk, and so what's to forgive? You just let it go. And look at this, with this double inconjunct to the nodes and to Chiron. If you belong to yourself, soon you'll have friends who belong to you. But you have to belong to yourself first, because the universe will always mirror back whatever is going on inside of you. That's how we learn that we are absolutely powerful creators. We co-create reality based on our beliefs from the inside out. And if you're not being mirrored back in a loving relationship, then they're not a loving relationship, and it's time to cut them out of your life and let them go. But you also don't need to hold on to resentments, because you can just forgive and let that go. This is so transformative. And this is so powerful for women's rights and human rights. This is just so amazing. But there's going to be adjustments that are needed to come into that power. So you're going to need to talk within, unify within, and just, keep working it. Just keep working it. So this is actually like, the structure of life on Earth, no matter what the transits are saying, but the transits are here to really help us get the message, or the lessons, to get those soul lessons and move forward. So, okay, well, that's it. I'm done. This turned out to be way longer than I thought. I always think every week I can do it faster. Sorry, it's not happening. But I'll get those timestamps in, so you can always go back and check for each day for the things that are coming in. So, okay, thanks, you guys. Take good care. Bye.